One of the most expensive phrases I hear sellers say is, "It works fine. The roof isn't leaking, the HVAC still blows cold, and the water heater works perfectly." And while all of that may be true, it may not matter to your next buyer. You see, one of the biggest mistakes homeowners make when they're getting ready to sell is they evaluate their home through the eyes of the owner instead of through the eyes of the buyer.
You think?
Hey everyone, it's Danielle Taylor with Keller Williams Realty here on the beautiful Outer Banks. And today I want to talk about why it matters.
And why it matters.
Some of the questions I ask my sellers, and I always find out the answers to for my buyer clients, are: how old is the roof? How old is the HVAC? When was the water heater replaced? Has the septic been pumped? Do you have a termite bond? And do you have polybutylene pipes? And I can't tell you how many times I hear the same response. "I'm not really sure, but everything works fine." Or, "The roof's never leaked." And here's the thing, I completely believe you. But what I want my sellers to understand is it may not matter to you anymore, but it absolutely matters to your next buyer. As homeowners, we naturally judge how our home fared based on how it performed for us. If the air conditioning is cold, the roof isn't leaking, and the hot water's hot, life is good. But buyers look at a home completely differently. They're not asking, how has this worked for the current owner? They're asking, what risks am I inheriting? And that's a really important distinction. For example, a buyer walks into a house with a 15-year-old HVAC system. It may be running perfectly well today, but they're already thinking, if this needs to be replaced in the next couple of years, that's a pretty significant expense. The same goes for windows, exterior paint, decking, appliances, and of course, the roof. Even if everything is functioning exactly as it should, buyers are mentally creating a budget for what they may have to spend after they move in. These future expenses can absolutely influence what they're willing to pay today, and I promise you that a buyer will always deduct more than the cost of the repair. They like to call it a pain, suffering, and risk tax. Now let's go ahead and pivot and talk about another reason the ages matter, and that's insurance. This is probably one of the biggest misconceptions I see. A seller will proudly tell me, "The roof isn't leaking, we've patched it, we've taken care of it, it's doing just fine." And again, I believe you. The challenge is the insurance company has never met your roof, and they really don't care about how you've maintained it. They care about whether your roof has a likelihood of creating a potential claim tomorrow. And depending on the insurance carrier, the age of your roof alone may impact whether they'll write the policy, what coverage they'll offer, and what the premium will be. The same is true for older water heaters, certain types of electrical panels, and one that we see fairly often here on the Outer Banks, polybutylene piping. Many buyers don't even know what polybutylene pipes are until they start shopping for insurance. And then suddenly they discover their options may be limited or their premiums may be higher. The third reason I really want you to care and understand why the age of your systems matter, and this often surprises people, is that it can affect some types of financing. A buyer can fall in love with a home, get excited, get under contract, everything's moving along great, until the lender or the appraiser identifies some sort of issue. It could be a safety issue like missing handrails, it could be some rotten wood, it could be unpermitted space. Regardless, these things may not have affected your day-to-day life as a homeowner, but they can absolutely affect whether a buyer can obtain financing. This is especially important for VA, USDA, and FHA loans. So now you're thinking, Danielle, great, now where do we go from here? If you can tell a buyer, hey, the roof was replaced in 2022, the HVAC gets serviced every year, We pumped the septic system last year. Here's a copy of our termite bond. You've immediately reduced their uncertainty. And uncertainty always leads to more negotiations. The more questions a buyer has, the more cautious they become. The more confidence you can provide, the more comfortable they feel making an offer. Not only an offer, but a strong offer. So what's the takeaway? I always encourage my homeowners to not wait until they're thinking of selling to start keeping track of things. Keep a folder with all your receipts and the dates of when you replaced systems. Stay current on a regular routine maintenance. Consider an annual HVAC service plan. Have your septic pumped and possibly inspected on a regular schedule. Maintain a termite bond if it's available for your property. At minimum, get a termite inspection every year. And every 5 to 7 years, you really should consider having your own home inspection done so that you can identify the small things before they become the expensive ones. Think of it as preventive maintenance for one of the largest investments you will ever make. At the end of the day, selling a home isn't just about what works today. It's about helping the next buyer feel confident about tomorrow. Because as homeowners, we tend to judge our home on how it performed for us. But buyers judge the home based on the risks they'll inherit. If you're thinking of selling your home here on the Outer Banks and you'd like to know what buyers are likely to focus on before you ever put that for sale sign in the yard, I'd be happy to help. I hope you enjoyed this, and make sure you subscribe so you can stay tuned and not miss an update, and we'll see you next time.